All right, this is the penultimate before episode. Do we have everything set up for a great finale? Yes. Yeah, actually, I think we kind of do. Let's talk about before season one, episode 9, and the darkness was called night. It's David Stark from Watcher Pass. I'm here to talk to you about before season one, episode 9, and the darkness was called night, coming to Apple TV Plus on December 13th, 2024. Is episode 9, a 10-part limited series. So that means we are on the penultimate episode, the episode right before the finale. So hopefully everything is set up and everything is good to go, right? Well, actually, kind of my hot take is I think it kind of is. I think it is getting ready to have a very interesting finale. It seems like the storylines have coalesced enough that we are going to have that we are all set up for what should be an interesting and hopefully enlightening ending. But I do think that this episode is a good episode. I think you should watch it. I think it is a solid episode that is a great setup for the finale, kind of gets the storylines all together and answers a few more questions that we've all been waiting to hear. So definitely think you should check it out when it comes to Apple TV Plus on December 13th, 2024. I think before it has a rocky season, but I think it's trending up. So fingers crossed that episode 10 is going to keep that going. But all that being said, I'm going to tell you a little about the episode, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a recap. So as you can imagine, there'll be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't know what happens in this episode, and you might not, there are some really big surprises and a very big ending that I was very happy to see. I would turn it off when I get to the recap. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So, remember before episode 8 ended with Eli going into this cabin, this farmhouse that has been the subject of a lot of speculation on his part. Inside, there was a kind of a fever dream of different scenes, different experiences, things like that. And it ultimately ended with him being found by his assistant, like clawing at his infected hand. His hand was super infected. I think he said that there were worms in there. I don't know if he said that, or at least we saw it. But he was picking at this hand. It was infected. He got admitted to a hospital. And then when he was kind of going into the hospital, going into surgery, he looked at his assistant and told her that he had killed Lynn. So, big revelation. We all kind of thought he killed Lynn. That was kind of the implication, but now we knew. Well, in this episode, we get some more information about that and also see what Eli is going to do in this hospital and how he may be still trying to help Noah. So, things I liked about this episode. Very similar to the last episode. I like the supernatural part. It feels like before started with much less of a supernatural bent, much more kind of like dreams and weird things. And that also is a reflection of Eli's personality. He doesn't want to admit that things are supernatural, so he has innocuous psychological explanations for a lot of things that are happening. But as this has progressed, and now it does seem like the series has gone into a more supernatural focus, and Eli has also opened up to more supernatural explanations. There is an explanation in here that is very supernatural. So I was happy to see that. Second thing I love the build up. I thought this episode built up very well. Starts fairly slow, gives us a little tidbit of information here and there, kind of builds the conflict, and then it has a very explosive ending, which was supposed to be my fourth, but I guess I'll go with third. It kind of slides right in there. Third thing I love, the ending. It's a really good ending. Makes me excited for the finale. I'm hoping the finale will continue this trend. I'm hoping that the finale will give us the answers that we're hoping for. I guess we'll have to wait till next week to see. And that caused me to switch. The last thing I loved, I like the answers. There are some answers here. Like I said, you get some more information about Lynn's death. You get an explanation from Eli on what is happening that shows him progressing as kind of a thinker. So I liked that as well. Feels like there are still a few questions left, but they are slowly narrowing down as we are barreling towards the finale. So, all that being said, things I didn't love as much, really kind of only one thing. It's a shorter episode. Before has trended shorter. This one I think is about 25 minutes. So it's not the shortest episode, but as I have been liking this season, as I am enjoying these later episodes, I kind of wish there was more to them. But it's a very digestible episode length. It is a very kind of easy to swallow episode length. So take that for what it's worth. So, all that being said, before season one, episode 9 is coming to Apple TV Plus on December 13th, 2024. Definitely think you should watch it. Think you should watch this season. I think you should watch the series. It's been getting better. I'm hoping episode 10 will kind of be a good finale, but I guess we'll have to wait to find out. But before that, make sure to catch up. See the previous episodes so you're ready on December 20th when episode 10 comes out. So, I'm going to really quickly go into a recap right now. So if you don't know what happens in this episode, I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So after Eli was admitted to the hospital because of his infected hand. He now is in a psych ward. He wakes up in a psych ward. He can't get himself checked out, even though this is basically his psych ward, the psych ward that he oversaw, the psych ward that he worked in. He is now a patient, and so he does not have the same privileges he used to have, even though he kind of feels like he should. He's walking around being like, "This is my ward. I should be able to get out of here." Sorry, Eli. You're admitted. You can't. Now, eventually, he talks to his doctor and his assistant. They are the ones that checked him into this ward. And when he's talking to his daughter's assistant, she asks why he killed his wife. And so he finally comes out and says what happens. He said he did it. He said that she had tried to commit suicide but hadn't succeeded. I think she'd like cut her wrists and was in a bad shape but not fully dead. And she asked him, she begged him to help. And so he did. But then he says he used his hands, which I don't know if that means he strangled her because we have seen a scene where he is strangling Lynn. So I feel like that means he strangled her. I don't know if he drowned her. I don't know if he like strangled her enough to have her pass out and then like put her in the water and that's when she drowned and fully died. But that seems like a pretty violent way to die, even if someone's asking. So I was a little surprised at that, but that is what he says happened. And also, he is still confessing to murder, even though he's in a psych ward, even though he's with, I don't know, I guess friends, family, and an assistant and a doctor. That's still confessing to murder. I don't believe there is a statute of limitations on murder, so that is not a good thing to confess to. But he does, he does. So we will see if that comes back to bite him. Now, meanwhile, Noah is doing terribly. We find out he is declining, he is cold, he is like not being very responsive, and he is going to be transferred to a state facility upstate. His foster mom comes and tries to stop this, but the doctor that has been kind of seeing Eli and also seeing Noah, his like supervisor, says no, that the foster mom can't help him, and she also can't refuse the transfer. She's like, I only signed that stuff to get him care, and she's like, yeah, well, you don't have any rights anymore. Sorry. So the foster mom then goes to visit Eli, and Eli's like, I can't do anything either. Look where I'm at. I'm in the psych ward. Like I can't do anything. But she notices that he is like huddled up with a blanket, and she's like, "You're cold? Noah's cold. Like why?" And we get an explanation of what Eli thinks is happening, and this is what I like because this is a more supernatural explanation than we have ever gotten from Eli. He says he thinks that he, Noah, and Lynn are all connected in their past lives. In their past lives, they've all been connected. They're all going back to some tragedy that happened way down the line, and so that is why Noah and Eli are having the same problems. My guess, is that Noah is probably a reincarnation of Benjamin. The timing, I think, works out pretty well. And Noah has that imprint, that birthmark that Benjamin had when he died from CPR. I'm not sure who Eli and Lynn are. Lynn is probably that drowned girl, the girl that we saw early on in the quick vision that like was drowning in some sort of ice lake. I don't know what Eli is. Maybe he's the person that did it. I'm not sure, but we'll hopefully find out next week. But the foster mom asks if he can do anything. He's like, "There's nothing I can do," because he's in the ward. Now, later in the ward, Eli is approached by someone who had like latched onto him a little bit when he first got there. He keeps asking him knock knock jokes. He keeps asking him knock knock. Eli was not interested at start, but now that he's kind of like contemplating what's happening, he says, the guy says knock knock, and he says, "Who's there?" The guy says, "Hal." And Eli says, like, "Hal who?" And he's like, "How will you know if you don't open the door?" And then he leaves, which I love. It's a very kind of like weird supernatural thing that relates also to Eli, like going into that farmhouse, opening that door, trying to figure out what happened. This causes Eli to think, and he looks at that picture that Lynn drew, that picture that he had earlier ripped up because he was so angry about it. He reconstructs it and notices that the boy in that picture with its two kids walking through the woods with like the scribbles that look like hair in a drowned person. He notices the boy in there has a bandage on his hand. Eli has a bandage on his hand because he cut his hand, but that bandage is bled through. There's blood on the other side of it. Eli's is fresh and clean. So Eli puts two and two together and goes, you know what? Let's see what happens. And he sees someone that has a pen, a nice metal pen. I wish it was that plastic Mets pen. That would have been very much more on brand. A plastic Mets pen, been throughout, been an important piece of this whole puzzle. No, it's a fancy, nice metal pen. I don't know why they changed it. But he goes up to that and he's just like, boom, like, the Joker in The Dark Knight, where he's like, want to see a magic trick. Same thing. He puts his hand through the pen, blood spurts out. This causes him to go to the ER because he has a freaking pen through his hand. And when he's in the ER, he then escapes. He escapes from the ER because he wasn't able to escape from the mental institution, but the ER, I guess it's easier for him to get out. So he escapes from the ER, and the next thing we see, Noah is being transferred upstate. He's getting loaded into a ambulance, and they're just like doing the final check. And as they're doing the final check, we hear a door close, and we see the ambulance drive away. And we go into the ambulance, and we see Eli driving Noah. And Noah's like, "Are you taking me home?" And Eli looks back and says, "We're going home." So, few things. One, Eli, you're going to go to jail for a long time, a very long time. Admitted to murder, kidnapping someone, escaping from a hospital, from a mental institution like that. You're not in for a good time, but hopefully you can fix whatever's going on. Now, what do we think is going on? Well, I think Eli's going to go back to that farmhouse. That seems to be the genesis of where a lot of this is happening. And there we will have a series of different instances through his past lives, through the various past lives, the intertangled stories to go back to what actually happened at the start. And my guess, I don't know, but my guess is like the original trauma was some girl, some young girl who died. And my guess at the, a couple episodes ago, my guess still is like she and a friend were like playing on ice or something like that. She tripped, maybe hit her head, and that friend was worried, didn't know what to do, and he like broke the ice and threw her in the water so that she would die. And that was, I think, probably the initial trauma that led to all this. Maybe there was someone else involved, maybe a parent involved that intertwined all this trauma that has then propagated out since then. Um, the other imagery we've seen a swimming pool. We haven't really seen anyone drown there, but that's been another image that we've seen, someone like jumping into a swimming pool. And then we also have, like the Lynn, Benjamin, Eli dichotomy. I think Noah is a reincarnation of Benjamin, although he's had like Lynn moments. So that's been kind of weird because I think he's supposed to be Benjamin. He's got that mark. And Benjamin died probably around, well, I mean, he died a lot before Noah, but Benjamin's the only one that died in a time that Noah could be a reincarnation of. So I think he's probably Benjamin, but I guess we'll see. I don't know who Lynn is. I don't know who Eli is, but hopefully we'll find all of that out next episode. And I guess we'll see what happens to Eli after all this series of crimes. But that is before episode 9. Like I said, I definitely think you should watch it. I think the season has progressed up. It kind of was up and down for a bit. I think it's been progressing better, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So that was before episode 9. If you do check it out, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.